Hello. So, yeah, we hit 500, which is insane, and I cannot thank you enough. Also, the background video is just me drawing 2021 balloons,
because right now it's 2020, and it's about to be 2021, and by the time you're watching this, it's probably already 2021.
Anyways, so this first one I made at around 2013, so this one is pretty old. I remember being really into drawing birds at the time. I'm not sure why, but you can see a whole bunch of bird drawings from around that time. And we're just not gonna mention the anatomy in this very drawing. And this, I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. It looks like if a dog wore pig ears that were bleeding really heavily and a rabbit is sitting on top of that dog. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Okay, give me a break. And this next one, it's a drawing of a horse with very misshapen legs, and you thought the people anatomy was bad. Okay, moving on. Here are like 15 million birdhouse birds that I painted. I don't know. And then we have this monstrosity. I think it's supposed to be one of my friends as a doll. You know who you are. And here is when I wanted a zoo, but I couldn't have a zoo, so naturally I just drew a zoo and pretended that it was actually a zoo. Here's a crappy acrylic painting that for some reason I treated like wash and I watered it down and everything. I don't know why. And here's a giant canvas thing that I was supposed to paint on and make it look decent. I think I failed at the last part. See, this one, we don't even mention this one. This one is just, no, we're not gonna go there. Here's another acrylic painting, or should I say attempt at acrylic painting. I don't know, I really liked acrylic paints at the time. I guess it was nice, now I suck at them. Here you can see I started experimenting with a few different mediums, such as oil pastels and Sharpies, because I didn't have Copics. And I watched some of my greatest inspirations who had Copics and I didn't have Copics. And I thought Sharpies were basically the same thing, even though we all know they're not. Here is a self-portrait that looks exactly the opposite of an alien stereotype, but still somehow manages to look like an alien. This is when I started to get into digital art. So I drew this little dress thing around that time. For context, I was using my mom's phone, so it didn't have multiple layers, but it got me through. And as I started to become more exposed to other artists around me, I got really interested in trying out realism, so there's one of my first attempts of drawing an eye, which you now know is my only obsession. And here's one of my first attempts of drawing realism using digital art, and it's not the best, but it inspired me to keep going, and I'm glad that I did. Now, this portrait was one of my first attempts at graphite realism. I don't like it, obviously, but I was really proud of it. You know, throw in a crappy parrot because, no reason, just parrot. And then we have this, one of my first digital art pieces, or should I say earliest digital art pieces that I still like to this day. It's just so simple, but the roses are really pretty in my opinion. I don't know. And not long after, I started drawing digital art on the iPad, which I still use to this day. Here's one of my first portraits from around that time. It's a bit wonky, the proportions are wonky, but I mean, it's not bad. Behold, another eyeball drawing. Are you surprised? Yeah, no, my obsession started there. And here's a portrait that I still sort of like the concept. I don't like how it was drawn, but I think it's nice. It's a nice concept, and I might redraw that one eventually. Oh, anatomy, what is that? I don't know her. Yeah, we don't mention this one. And this is where I discovered watercolors, and I found that I was decent at them. Unfortunately, this is like the only watercolor piece I have from around that time that I've taken a picture of, so yeah, that's all you're gonna see. Then, I discovered colored pencils, and yeah, you know where that's gotten me, so I'm really happy that I decided to pick up a pack of Prismacolors and work with them because, you know, I like them. And I started to experiment with drawing different things. Here's a dog thing, and then I started working with portraits and stuff. And here's a weird little candy bar thing that I sort of like. Actually, it's dark chocolate, my favorite type of chocolate. I really like chocolate, dark chocolate, to specify. And I don't have many pictures of my stylized art style, but this is about when I decided to start, messing around with styles and seeing what works for me. And not surprisingly, it's another eyeball. Were you surprised? No, you weren't. And naturally, as I learned a bit more and started to use the colored pencils a bit more, I started noticing some improvements. For example, in this dog drawing, it's obviously not good, but it's better than it was. And some of my more recent ones here, this owl, I don't like it anymore. I used to like it. It's still up on my channel if you're still going to, try and watch it. I advise you don't, because no, it's just bad, okay? And after that last miserable excuse of a drawing, I drew this one. I think this is what, got me really into drawing portraits. It's still, I still like it to an extent to now. And yeah, this is the end of the, I don't want to say video because that's just, no, I can't say it. It's just too cringy for me to say because it feels like, okay, yeah, anyways. I hope you enjoyed this at least somewhat. I don't know. Also, my ankle just popped, but yeah, bye. Thank you.